Hello, everybody. I am Dismofo, and this will be my top 5 favorite fighting video games. First, let's get these formalities out of the way. This list will only contain games that I have played. I will only use one game per series, otherwise, this video would contain only 2 games. And finally, my list is about how much I liked each game, and not necessarily how good that game is. So, my choices are heavily influenced by both nostalgia and the community that surrounds said games. So, without further ado, number 5 Melty Blood. Actress Again Current Code to be specific. This game takes the number 5 spot because playing it got me into the first fighting game sub-community that I have ever been in, and I met a bunch of awesome people and went to so many tournaments and even went to EVO primarily for this game. As far as gameplay goes, it's an anime fighter with the parry system and a unique meter mechanic that set it apart from other fighting games. It never really made it big in the US, probably because it was spawned from a playable novel, but it's a solid, fun fighting game, and its community was great enough to put it at number 5 on my list. Number 4 Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear Accent Core is widely known as one of the more technical 2D fighters out there. On top of that, it is also considered to have the most balanced characters in all of fighting games, with even their bottom tier characters seeing tournament success. This game had a huge roster of 25 characters, and every character feels unique. Even the quote-unquote clone characters, such as Robokai and Order Soul, felt completely different from their vanilla versions. Top that off with a community full of hype-as-hell people who are always willing to share info with new players, and you have all the ingredients necessary to make it to number 4 on my list. Number 3 Marvel vs. Capcom. I started playing this game back during Marvel vs. Capcom Vanilla and fell in love with it immediately. All of my favorite Marvel characters fighting some video game characters I knew, and a group of them I didn't. What's not to love? And then the sequel came out. Holy crap. 56 characters? What? 3v3 matches? Excuse me? My mind was blown. And not to mention, this game reigned supreme in the tournament scene for years. It was just so fast-paced and, well, broken. But whatever, the game was fun to watch. And then MVC3 came along, and FYI, when MVC2 was big, I wasn't really that into being, super good at fighting games, so I never really got into it. But with MVC3 having such an easy learning curve for new players, I knew I could finally do something with the series. Granted, Vanilla Phoenix had me raging like Jews staring down to see gratuity was included in the check after he had already left a tip. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom gave me tournament viability new life. That is, until the Morgan Fireball shit became a thing. Yeah. And that's why this game didn't make it higher than number 3 on my list. Number 2, Street Fighter. Where do I even begin with this series? This was the series that first got me into competitive gaming as a whole. One day I was going to a swap meet and ran into a seller who was playing Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, and I asked to play. At the time, I would always win against my friends because I kinda knew spacing and could perform all the special moves. When I played against this guy and his friends, I got wrecked. But the seller was a friend of my father, and he taught me the ropes. He went over parrying and super canceling and opened my eyes to a world of strategy I never knew existed. After that, I started to visit Super Arcade here and there and played against people and learned more about how crazy the game was. And how bullshit Yun is. Unfortunately, right after I got into Third Strike, Street Fighter 4 came out, and oh boy. This was a somewhat similar thing that happened with Marvel, where it was easy to learn, so I got into it quickly. Its slower pace was different, but I liked it. Zoning became insanely viable, and the game felt a bit, well, boring. Luckily, as the newer versions came out, and the game got quicker and better. Now, with Ultra Street Fighter 4, the game feels really good. Still block heavy, but it has a huge emphasis on rushdown and pressure. Not to mention the roster has been upgraded to near Marvel status. And one character happens to be a Turkish oil wrestler who hugs people to death. How can that not earn itself the number 2 spot on my list? Number 1, Super Smash Bros.
Now you listen here, boy. This is the #1 to my video. I want it to sound fancy. You gotta say it with some pizzazz. I don't know why I even feed you that 1 meal a day if you can't do that for me. Are you listening to me? Now then, I want you to say #1 real good like. You know, like one of them professionals.
#1, Super Smash Brothers!
Ah, yeah. That sounded much better like. Okay, now why don't you come on back to the office and take off them pants?
Oh, no, please. Now, I don't want to hear any of this whole Smash Bros. Isn't a fighting game bit, because that ship sailed a long time ago. But, honestly, this game moved back and forth between first and second so often that I almost gave up on making the list. But after quite an amount of self-reflection, I realized that I actually liked every single game in this series, and that I'm a slave to nostalgia, and chose Smash Bros. Because it's the first fighting game I ever liked. The first Smash, just like Marvel, had a whole bunch of flagship Nintendo characters, duking it out in cool interactive arenas and with crazy game referential items. You have to admit, it was always fun to use the Pokeballs and to see the well-known Pokemon come out to join the fray. And even though I didn't know it at the time, the combos in this game are freaking crazy. Bless you, Isaiah. Bless you. Anyone who knows Smash Bros. Knows about its first sequel. Super Smash Bros. Melee improved the game in every single aspect. More characters, more stages, more items, better graphics, an adventure mode, a ton of multiplayer modes, and trophies which could help you learn about the characters you didn't know. In addition, it had new game mechanics that created a super fast-paced game that had a huge tournament scene for quite the while now, albeit its popularity has been rising lately to bigger than it ever was before. I loved this game with a passion, and even though I wasn't all about that tournament scene at the time it was out, I really loved going to Hyrule Temple and racking up the percentages till even tilts sent you flying for days. And Nintendo did what I thought would be impossible. It made another sequel. And that sequel kept adding more and made the game better. You know what game I'm talking about. It's Super Smash Bros. Wii U. The sequel to Melee. Smash Wii U, or what is usually called Smash 4, stepped the game up again. Beautiful HD. Huge roster. More Hyrule Temple-like stages, my favorite. Custom stages you make on your own. Online play. And custom moves for each character to make them all more unique. Even though customs are widely disliked at tournament scenes, I still think it's cool. Smash 4 right now is my go-to fighting game, and I plan on going to tournaments soon. So, since it held a place in my heart all those years ago when I first played it, and it holds my attention right now, I believe it deserves my #1 spot. Hope you enjoyed the video. If there are any games you think deserve to be on this list, feel free to tell me what games they are and why in the comments below. Thank you for watching my video, and happy viewings to you all.